Since there was so many comments about the top 11 courses you should visit in 2024, I had to make a part 2. So with that, let's get into it. But once again, I have to say this is one of my most high effort videos, so if you did like it, be sure to subscribe and be sure to leave a like. I really appreciate it, and comment down your favorite course. I would love to know about it. And also, if you don't want to watch the entire thing, there are chapters linked in the description, so you can skip to just the courses that you want to see. Alright, let's get into it. So I had to filter through a ton of courses because people have some very hot takes. So basically the same criteria as before: has to have a high UDisc rating, has to have a lot of ratings, and it has to have that wow factor. A lot of people mentioned Pro Tour courses, and I really just didn't want to do that because that's already known. People don't really care about that. They want to see new courses that they have not seen before. So with that, let's get into it. Number 1. Brook Trails in Willits, California. Just 3 hours south of the Redwood Forest. This is definitely not a course you want to miss. It definitely has that vibe of Mount McIver while still offering something totally unique and different. And with every tee pad looking just as spectacular as the last one, this is definitely a course you do not want to miss. And even though it looks amazing, it actually only has 850 ratings, so this is still relatively unknown. And while this is a pay-to-play course with $13 per round or $20 per day, that is certainly well worth it for the amazing experience that you will get. And honestly, this feels like one of those courses that just walking through would be epic. So not only that, but adding disc golf into the mix, it certainly would be an amazing experience that you will not forget. And it really does make me wish that we had more courses like this on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. Next up, number 2, Ale Disc Golf Center in Knoll, Sweden. With one of the most beloved courses closing in 2022, it was looking really bleak for this course, but with new ownership, it is finally getting revitalized and getting reworked. It is a 4.8 on UDisc with tons of love, and actually contains 3 courses on the property, with really the only complaint being that distance is just kind of required for a course like this, which I would say is par for the course when you're looking at great courses such as this. And it became public that the cost of the property was actually worth about 1.2 million, so there's a lot of money going into this property, and they're already getting some great use out of it by hosting the Swedish National Disc Golf Championship in 2023. And I would say this course really does offer something very unique, and the fact that it feels like you're playing in like the Alaskan wilderness, it is just so unique, so special. Every shot feels very unique, but still gettable if you have the distance. And I really love courses that blend wooded and open all at the same time, really forcing you to hit your lines while still getting good distance, and also offering a lot of elevation change at the same time. And this course was so beloved that they actually placed a bid for Worlds a couple years back. It was rejected, but this does show potential for a new Worlds to actually be hosted here, because at least for the 2025 season, it is going to be hosted in Finland, so the potential of a Worlds hosted in Sweden is certainly not off the table. And with resounding love for this course, I certainly expect great things in the future. And also, just one more thing to note is that since there are 3 different courses, there is a pro level course, an advanced intermediate course, and a beginner level course. So just because you don't have 500 feet of distance does not mean you cannot play at this course. And then switching it up to something totally different, number 3, Silver Creek Park in Manitowoc, Wisconsin. With a much more raw and open feel, this is certainly not a course that has the most pristine lines, most pristine fairways. It is probably much closer to your day-to-day course that you play generally, but with a lot more interesting shot shapes and interesting design built into the course. With 36 permanent holes and multiple layouts allowing you to play a pro level line or a beginner line, this is a course for everyone. And probably the most standout feature is that you're playing along the lake, so there are a couple of holes, especially hole 26, where you are playing right into the water, where you can potentially throw a disc right into the lake if you are not careful. But along with that, you're actually putting into a lighthouse basket, probably one of the most unique disc golf baskets out there. This course certainly has a lot of character built in. And although it does feel a little bit more rough than other courses, there are still plenty of tournaments here where top name pros are actually playing this course, so it is certainly not anything to scoff at. But probably the biggest thing that you'll be facing is wind, rain, and of course, lots and lots of trees. And with the resounding love for this course in the UDisc reviews, this is certainly not one you want to miss. And just a funny side note, there are actually a lot of courses named Silver. There are 2 Silver Creeks, 1 Silver Fox, but if you were trying to look up this course, this is Silver Creek Park. Don't forget the park. And next up at number 4, I had so many comments mentioning this particular course, so clearly it has a lot of love that I've actually never even heard about. This is Caliber Disc Golf Course in Sandpoint, Idaho. With nearly a 5 on UDisc, currently sitting at 4.9, 760 ratings, this is probably one of the most loved courses in all of UDisc. It is a seasonal course that will cost you $15 per round, going alongside the ski resort in Schweitzer Mountain. And while the views are epic, the disc golf you're going to be playing is going to be on par with that level of epicness as well. With nearly every commenter saying this is perfect, this is their favorite course, this is by far the #1 course you gotta visit. And looking at the views, it certainly holds true to that nature. With holes that feel close to Massachusetts, Vermont, Portland disc golf, It has a little bit of everything, but one thing it certainly does not lack is extremely good views. And while this will certainly challenge your narrow wooded shot shapes, this is by far one of the most interesting courses I've ever seen. And I know I will be saying this so many times in this video, but I really wish we get to see this course on tour because it is truly astounding. With hand-painted tee signs, they show so much love and care for this course, and hole 2 is certainly a great example of that. It feels almost like a blend of a golf course mixed with like a national park. It is certainly making me wish I could play there right now. And with turf tee pads and with an owner that is extremely cognizant of the players' needs, this is certainly a course that will evolve over time to meet the needs of the players, so this will only get better over time. And then at number 5, we have Sugaree, close to Asheville, North Carolina. This was actually quoted as being much better than North Cove, because my last video I had North Cove and people were like, no, if you're gonna go to that area in North Carolina, you have to go to this one. And while I don't think the disc golf you're gonna get is actually better than North Cove, the views and uniqueness about this course is simply awe-inspiring. With nearly every pin being up on a rock face, it is certainly one of those courses that every single putt is danger, and it's also incredibly exciting because you just don't know what's going to happen. And according to Udis, the amount of people that said this was their favorite course was insanely high. So I think this is definitely one of those courses that you have to play at to truly embrace how epic it truly is. And like many have said, it is a lot of ups and downs. It is truly a hiking experience with disc golf sprinkled into the experience, but it really does look like if you're there during like that peak moment where the trees are starting to turn a little bit, this is probably one of the most insane courses to play. And while the drive may be a little bit out of the way, it is certainly an experience that you have to do if you're in the Asheville area. And of course, I would be remiss if I did not mention that it has a 4.9 on UDisc with 588 ratings. So there's clearly a lot of love for this course. And oh yeah, I forgot to mention, in addition to all the amazing landscapes you get to see throughout the course, there's also an entire Christmas tree farm on the course. Next up, number 6, probably the most unknown course, Diamond X in Billings, Montana. With only 400 ratings and a 4.3, this is certainly not a course that probably meets too many people's top 10 gotta go courses, but I included it because it is so truly unique. In a similar vein as Thunderbird in Utah, this is truly a desert experience that you will not get anywhere else. With insane landscapes, a total desert feel, and every basket feeling like it is worthy of being your background on your phone, this is truly a course that offers unique shot shapes with every single hole. But like a lot of courses on this list, this is much more of a hike than you might be accustomed to, and this reviewer, while critical, probably did summarize it pretty well by saying, this is not a disc golf course, this is a hike. Don't come with the understanding that you'll be playing disc golf. The first few holes are fine, but as you progress, you will see that the holes are either designed such that you make a small mistake and you end up scrambling down a ravine. Don't play unless you can throw 300 plus. And while this guy does seem a little salty, I think this is truly the essence of what unique disc golf is all about. It is not easy, it is not particularly fun. If you get caught in a really obscure position, you may lose a disc, but you go in knowing that. And with that knowledge, I think this is truly a course that I desperately want to go to, if nothing else than just a fun disc golf experience that I definitely cannot get back home. And because of that, I can overlook poor signage, getting my disc lost, going on a full-on hike, climbing up insane stuff just to get to the basket. I am willing to do all that in order to get a truly unique disc golf experience. And then at number 7, we have Flip City in Shelby, Michigan. Once again, one of those courses that was recommended to me a ton. People definitely view this course as one of their top courses of all time, and with good reason. With a 4.8 with 3,000 ratings, this is getting a lot of love, and it feels a little bit similar to Blue Ribbon Pines with that heavily wooded feel, and even its UDisc description is a little arrogant because it literally says one of the most beautiful courses that you'll ever play. But I think it truly does back that up with some of the most well manicured holes I've ever seen. And with only a $5 entry, this is certainly worth your while, and if you are going with your partner, girls do play for free as well. And the reviews certainly back up how amazing it is by countless people saying this is their favorite course and quoted as saying this is a disc golf mecca. And if you are in the Grand Rapids area, it is only an hour drive north, so certainly something you do not want to miss out on. And with clearly so much character built into this course, it truly offers a premium disc golf experience that while it might not rival Eagles Crossing, it certainly has such a high level of effort put into it that it certainly feels close to it. And once again, if you are playing in the fall, you definitely need to see it during the leaves changing because those views look straight up like they're from a movie. So even though I've not been there, 10 out of 10, I highly recommend you play it. And then moving on to number 8, we have Whistler's Bend in Roseburg, Oregon. With a 4.7 and 1,300 ratings, this is again one of the most epic looking wooded courses, but the true epic factor about this course is that it is built into nature in the most picturesque parts of Oregon. And unlike a lot of these other courses, it is open year-round, it has 27 holes, and unlike a lot of the other courses, the water features are really built into this course that go along the water, or you can at least see it at parts during the hole, and it really does feel like the IRL version of playing Disc Golf Valley. So assuming you are up for the challenge and are are willing to do 27 grueling holes that will force you to do a lot of hiking, a lot of ups and downs, this is definitely worth your while, with a nice mix of wooded, open, and technical holes. And really the only downside about this course is that people have said the baskets are not that good. And if that is the only knock about your course, then I would say you're doing pretty darn well. And then next up, a course that I almost didn't include because it goes against what I said in the intro, but I think I have to. Number 9, Olympus, aka Throw Down the Mountain, aka the course that Paul just bought. With a 4.8 and 1300 ratings, this is definitely a course that gets slept on a little bit because it has been closed down. It has been mostly not open to the public, and while that trend may continue for a while, if you are able to eventually play this course, then I highly recommend it. And even though we probably know what this course will end up looking like, it is going to be improved upon by Paul and Dylan Cease and his team, so this certainly will look a little bit different as time goes on. But with that said, the sheer epicness about this course cannot be understated, with nearly every hole offering some unique challenge, whether that be elevation, a hard left to right, a super narrow line that you have to hit, or of course the island-ish hole on hole 18, I believe, or maybe it's 16, the hole that Simon threw his insane drive to circle 1. This is seriously one of the most unique and fun courses I've ever seen, and while I have yet to play it, the day that it becomes available to the public, I will definitely be there to play it, because it truly does feel like a piece of disc golf history. And even though there are a lot of blind shots and a lot of fairway crossings, I'm sure that will be reworked as time goes on. So the downsides to this course will hopefully be a thing of the past, so I will not really mention it too much right now, but definitely recommend if you're in the Brooksville area. And nearly wrapping up the list, at number 10, we have Hobb Farms in Carrollton, Georgia. And even though I'm certainly aware of Georgia having great disc golf, I've not personally been there to experience it all, but definitely people were saying a lot about Hobb's Farm in particular. And just looking at this course, it seems to do pretty much everything right. It has a lot of tee positions, so if you are not feeling a lot of distance, you can play a more chill round, but they also offer intermediate and even pro level distances. They have great signage. Clearly a lot of effort has been put into this course. There's a lot said about the fairways looking really clean, grass is really clean, and even though a lot of these holes don't look amazing, like 10 out of 10, I think while not every hole looks epic, the entire course as a whole brings you a great overall disc golf experience that will not leave you disappointed. With a lot of wooded holes, a lot of very interesting tee pads that force you to throw right over water, this will definitely be a course that requires good distance, good accuracy, and probably a lot of good shoes, because this is also, much like a lot of these courses, going to be a very long hike. With nearly the only knock you could give it probably being that the U-disc has not been updated properly, and that could just be because there are so many pin positions and so many baskets that it is probably very hard to manage all that if you are a course designer. But with that said, that is certainly not enough to make you not go to this course, so I highly recommend you check it out. And a nice feature about this course is that it does offer kind of that home course feel, where you get a lot of holes that feel pretty easy to get, like they're not insane birdies, like you can get them, but it's a little bit difficult. And definitely if you are somebody on my last video that said, I want a course that offers not just pro level distance, this will definitely be a good one for you, because you won't have to worry about just ripping at 400 every single drive. And then last up, we are ending it with Highbridge Hills, and this is certainly reminiscent of Phaler Park, and while it may be a little bit less epic, it is still insanely cool, with very, very long drives, forcing you to throw a lot of distance on these open holes while still offering very nice wooded sections. And in a very unique fashion, they actually have 5 freaking courses. So if you want to play a little bit of everything, you can come here, play every day for a week, and experience a new course every single day if you were to play different pin positions. And with it offering camping and only being $20 a day, this is certainly a course that if you do make it out to, you will certainly not regret it. And with a total rework of the back 9 for the gold layout, they're definitely continuing to do a lot of work on this course. So if you are coming out here, be sure to be on the lookout for what these new courses are, because it does seem to be like it's a little bit in flux whether these courses are able to be played, or if they're being reworked, or if they're still being released. There's a lot of new developments on it, so there's clearly a lot of effort being given to it, and it will certainly evolve as the years pass, with new ownership starting in 2019. And actually something I had no clue about, Worlds was hosted here in 2007, so it definitely has the pedigree of an elite level course while still offering fun for everyone else. And they literally call themselves the Highbridge Hill Disc Golf Megaplex, and if you call yourself a Megaplex, you probably are offering a much higher degree of disc golf than really anyone else. So if you are in the Northwest Wisconsin area, I highly recommend you check it out. Me personally, I would love to play here and see what each of these courses have to offer, because having so many courses on one property really does cement yourself as a disc golf must-see, and it seriously feels like a ski resort with how many different routes you can play. So with that, we conclude 11 more courses that you must visit in 2024. We got a nice mix of wooded, open, West Coast, Michigan, Wisconsin, Georgia, Florida, and even Sweden. So if you are a big fan of these courses, be sure to comment down below. I'd love to know. And if I got stuff horribly wrong and you're local and you're like, you missed this major part about this course, I'd also really like to know that. But once again, I have to say this is one of my most high effort videos. So if you did like it, be sure to subscribe and be sure to leave a like. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. Wild Runs, signing out. Peace.